everyone, I'm here today with Amy Newmark, the author, editor-in-chief, and publisher of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Now this is a busy woman, but she's told me that how she balances basically doing 3 jobs is by using the power of no. So Amy, as someone who says yes to a lot of things, how do we actually use the power of no?
It's really, really hard because we're all programmed to want to be helpful, right? We want to say yes to people. We want to be that kind of person, but you can't, because if you're trying to be the perfect partner and the perfect daughter and the perfect sister and the perfect friend and employee and volunteer, you will not be perfect at anything because you will be so stressed out and exhausted.
Right. So how do we actually force ourselves to do this?
So you have to make a deal with yourself that you're not going to say yes to everything. It's really, really hard to do it. In fact, we get a lot of stories from people about the first time they ever said no, because it really stands out in their lives, even if it happened 10 years before. And we had a great story that I love to tell by a woman named Sydney Logan. She was trying to be everything to everybody, parent, spouse, volunteered. She did everything, and she didn't learn how to say no until her therapist made her do it.
Oh, wow. I feel like that's something that all of us are, it's prevalent in all of our lives. We're all wearing so many hats.
It's true. And she tried to do everything, and it was actually making her unhealthy. And she was talking to her therapist one day, and she was complaining because she had to go to an event that day that she didn't want to go to. And her therapist said, well, why do you have to go to it? And Sydney said, well, because I should go to it. And the therapist said, why should you go to it? Why do you have to go to something that you don't want to go to? And Sydney said, oh, that had never occurred to her. Because sometimes you have to hear the obvious said to you, even though that really does seem obvious. So she actually went and said no because her therapist made her. And she discovered, much to her surprise, that the world did not come to an end. And then she started getting better at it, and she started saying no all over the place. And she reported in her story that she is a much happier person now. Yeah, and we have so many of those stories. There was another one that just really tickled me because it was so funny. So there was this woman, and she would say yes to everybody. And she said in her story that she always got called first. Like she was always the very first call that they made when they needed a volunteer at school or at church or anywhere else in the community. And so she said yes because she was needed. And then she realized it was just destroying her. She was up at midnight cleaning the house, doing laundry. She was trying to work. She was trying to raise her kids. She was trying to finish her college degree. And she was saying yes to all of these other activities. And so one day, without even planning it, she just blurted out no when somebody called her and asked her if she would volunteer at some event. And the woman on the other end of the line said, oh, that's okay. I had just started at the top of the list. I'll call the next person on the list. And all of a sudden the woman realized, oh my gosh, my last name starts with A.
Oh my gosh, that's a great one.
It really is.
So can you give us some tips for how we can get ourselves to say no?
Yes, so first of all, don't think of it as you being selfish. You're not being selfish when you guard your calendar against attackers, basically. And you're going to be making time for the people and things that really matter to you when you say no. Second thing, tell the truth. You're already stressed, right? It's really stressful to lie. So don't lie about why you're saying no. Whatever it is, just tell the truth. People will respect you for saying that. And the third thing is, just do it. The first time is the hardest, which is why people write stories for us about the very first time they ever said no, because it stands out. Just do it. It's like jumping off a diving board. And after you do it once, the next few times will be easier and easier, and then it will become a routine for you. And you may end up being just as busy as you are now, but you're going to be busy doing the things that really matter to you and seeing the people who you really want to see.
Right. So thank you so much. It's been really helpful. I think I'm definitely going to try to use the power of no going forward.
Well, thanks for coming by today.